Oh, it seems you fell asleep on me. That's all right. I understand people nowadays are exhausted. That's just how it is, Mr. Abrams. Oh, this? This is just a compact eyeglass case. Yes. We get a bit older and it becomes necessary. Just one of those unfortunate things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I do have some follow-up questions regarding the case I'm working on. Um, Now, tell me again how you encountered the young lady. Mm-hmm. 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 I see. So it was the passenger side rear tire that was flat, and, well, the way you described it, that particular parking spot at that particular convenience store, I could see how a driver might enter their vehicle and not even notice a flat tire if it was on the rear passenger side. Mm-hmm. So the young lady started driving down the road. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, you happened to be right behind her, and you noticed she pulled off to the side of the road, so you pulled off as well, and you asked if you could help. Now, is that correct, Mr. Abrams? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Mr. Abrams. When you were changing that flat tire for her, yes, that flat tire on her economy sedan that came with a donut spare tire in the back, did you notice if the tire itself had been slashed, or if it looked as though some air had just drained out of it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, Mr. Abrams, we did find the car abandoned in the ditch. Yes, we did. Yes. So are you sure? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yes. I can tell you right now that the tire was deflated, not slashed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on, Mr. Abrams, hold on. As I said, I have a few follow-up questions. No need to get upset. Yes. Now, could you describe what the young lady was wearing? Mm-hmm. Well, it is important, Mr. Abrams. Please, what was she wearing? Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. So according to you, it was a slightly revealing outfit? Mm-hmm. Well, no, Mr. Abrams, I'm not implying anything. Nothing at all. After all, lots of young women nowadays wear slightly revealing outfits, sometimes not so slightly. Yes. Could you recall the color of the bralette that she was clearly wearing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Oh, Mr. Abrams, there's no need to get upset. These are just the standard questions we have to ask. After all, the young lady was listed as a Jane Doe. Yeah, no ID on her. Now, you did mention that she had a tattoo on the inside of her left wrist. Could you please describe that tattoo? And please be as detailed as possible. Mm-hmm. 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 All right. All right. And she also had a tattoo on her upper back left shoulder. Could you describe that one as well? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it was a black 5-pointed star on the back of her left shoulder. I see. I see. Was it particularly huge? No? Okay. But it wasn't small either, just a good size 5-pointed star. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just a star, not a satanic pentagram or anything like that. No? No? Okay. 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 Could you tell me what sort of shoes she was wearing? Mr. Abrams, again, these are standard questions. Mm-hmm. Why didn't I ask 2 days ago about her clothing, her tattoos? Well, 2 days ago, I didn't have a certain piece of information, Mr. Abrams. Yes. Again, no need to get upset. We'll wrap this up somewhat soon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I wouldn't dream of keeping you waiting any longer than necessary, Mr. Abrams. Yes, yes. Please go on, go on. Mm-hmm. 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 Mr. Abrams, other than her top, her bralette, and her tattoos, you seem to be having some problems describing what she was wearing. As a matter of fact, Mr. Abrams, you seem to be having some problems even recollecting the make and model of her vehicle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the strange part, Mr. Abrams. I mean, I asked around. Apparently, you're a very large car nut. No offense. Yes, you have an impressive stable of cars. Yes. Oh, yes, that Shelby. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a reproduction. Well, You could have fooled me, Mr. Abrams. Yeah, that Shelby Cobra. Yes. I mean, nowadays even the reproductions are worth a substantial amount of money. Yes, 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 yes. That particular Ferrari, that particular Lamborghini. Oh, yes, yes. Very impressive. And that modified Corvette of yours, yes. I mean, obviously you're a car guy. You know cars. And yet, for some odd reason, you can't seem to be able to recall the make and model of her car. Even though nowadays the badging tends to be huge, like just obnoxiously huge, on trunk lids, on front grills, and yet you can't seem to recall the make and model of her car. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Abrams. I interviewed your son. No. Don't get upset, Mr. Abrams. You see, yesterday after I interviewed, well, not yesterday, 2 days ago, after I interviewed you, I had a conversation with your son. Now, that young woman's broken, horribly battered body with so many broken bones that we found at the bottom of the cliff where someone had dumped her. Well, we found something else. Yeah. What we found was a tiny multi-tool, all black, with the initials DK on it. Now, Mr. Abrams, I know you and your son had a bit of a falling out a few years ago. Well, hold on, Mr. Abrams, that is my business. The two of you had a falling out, and he actually changed his last name to Kramer. Daniel Kramer. Now, wasn't Kramer your ex-wife's name before she married you, Mr. Abrams? Yes. And we found this little multi-tool engraved with DK, possibly Daniel Kramer, at the bottom of the cliff next to the body. Yeah. Oh, there is blood on the blade, trace amounts, apparently. This was used to slit her throat. Yes, unfortunately. Now, here's the odd thing. When I interviewed your son, and I asked him if he had lost a multi-tool, a small one, well, imagine my surprise when he produced an exact copy, also with his initials. Yes, this one we believe is the murder weapon. This is the one that your son had on him. He admitted that he owned a multi-tool exactly like the one we found at the bottom of the cliff next to the body, and he even produced it from his pocket and handed it to me. Here they are, two identical small multi-tools, both of them engraved with DK. So I thought this belonged to someone else, and it was just an unfortunate coincidence that your son happened to have the same multi-tool engraved by the same aftermarket seller with the same initials. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Yes. Oh, so what's the problem, you say? Yes. Well, unfortunately, most detectives would have said, oh, I guess your son isn't a suspect anymore. After all, he produced his multi-tool engraved with his initials that other people have seen him casually use for all sorts of things. But then I remembered something. I remembered back when I was a teenager. I ordered a very cheap stainless steel pocket knife, a small one, single blade. I had it engraved with my name, and a couple of weeks later, I ended up with 2 packages from the very same place I bought it from. Now, this seemed strange to me, and then when I opened them up, I realized that the seller had made a mistake and sent me not 1, but 2 stainless steel knives engraved with my name on both of them. Now, being an honest young man, I contacted the seller, and since the knife was rather cheap, I agreed to send him payment, and I just kept the duplicate. I mean, he gave me a bit of a discount, which was nice of him, but I kept the duplicate. A few years later, I lost one of them, so I just started carrying the other one. And somewhere out there is a stainless steel pocket knife with my name engraved in it. Maybe down the bottom of a cliff. Maybe someone found it and started using it. Maybe they didn't care that it was engraved. But I still had my original. So on a hunch, I asked your son where he had gotten his engraved from. And I contacted that individual. Yeah. Turns out that individual made the same mistake with your son that the individual who sent me those 2 stainless steel knives made with me. Oh yes, sir. Both of those engraved multi-tools belong to your son. It wasn't you that night, Mr. Abrams. It was your son. You're trying to cover for him. I don't know. Perhaps that's admirable. Oh, your son? Yeah, he's gone. You don't seem to understand, Mr. Abrams. No, he hasn't gone to your summer home in California. No, he's gone. Yeah. went to him and I confronted him. And I told him that he better show me his other small black multi-tool with his initials engraved on it. Otherwise, we would have a problem. Well, he wasn't able to show me the second one. That's because we recovered the second one from the bottom of the cliff next to the body. And all he had left was the one. They're not entirely the same. The one he had left, the initials, they're a little further back on the blade and they're a little gray compared to the other one. Point being, your son ended the life of that young woman. You want to hear something funny, Mr. Abrams? It's funny how a Baltimore police detective's badge looks just like the badge of the local police detectives in this community. And when I spoke to you, I simply flashed you my badge. Teresa. That's her name, by the way. She's my niece. And when I saw the picture of the Jane Doe being on television, national television, well, I grabbed my badge, my gun, and I came down here. Yes. Oh. Detective Bilson? No, I'm not Detective Bilson's partner. Yes, Detective Bilson's partner, his last name is Curtis. They have no clue I'm here. That's right. I mean, I have to say, considering that I handcuffed you to that chair before we got started, you've remained surprisingly calm, Mr. Abrams. And I get it, he's your son and you covered for him, but, well, you raised a filthy piece of human garbage, Mr. Abrams. And, your son, he's no longer around. Oh, he died screaming. Nice little secluded shack out in the woods. Actually, that's where we are now. I mean, you're not very observant, Mr. Abrams. She was a beautiful, wonderful, caring young woman. She was going to be headed to med school in a year. She wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to help people in underprivileged countries. Your son, he took that away. Took away a brilliant, beautiful young woman. And you helped him cover up for it. Again, I get it, he's your son, but, well, now you get to suffer the same punishment he did. Oh, yeah. it's going to hurt a lot.